I wouldn't call this a turquoise if I had to call it a color. I might call it, I don't know, peacock blue. What would you call it? But that's why I'll introduce you to you later. When artists use color systems, when they choose colors to put on their product, if they're designing something, they never use a name, because a name is just subjective. It could mean anything. Let's switch waters. And they would have to identify the blue by a number or a formula. So now I'll take the yellow and I'm going to mix, I'll mix it over here, yellow. That's going to be my pile to mix into with just a tip, just a tiny bit of blue. Should make me a yellow-green. How am I doing with my yellow-green? I think that's good, perfect. So yellow-green goes here. Again, I might need to go over it a few times because it seems quite transparent to me. I don't like the transparency. So just wait till it dries and go over it. Okay, so now I'm going to add a little bit more to make it green. Good enough. Green. Notice I'm running out of paint here. It's very dry. I tend to not put enough on when I do this. Now I have to make the blue-green. So what do we need? We need a little bit more blue. You notice a difference? Is it blue-green yet? It's more like it should have been for the green. I'm going to go back over it for the green. I think that was a true green. Now, I think with this blue, it's hard to make the blue-green. So I need a lot more blue here. Yup, there it is. There's my blue-green. Great. That didn't take that long after all. That will need another coat. Okay, now is a tough one. We're going to reds. I'm getting new water. Okay. So which is, what do we want to use? I think I want to use, I already used warm red, but I want to use cool red to cool blue because I like that. So here's what I might do. I need another palette. Well, actually, I do it over here. I'm going to take my cool red. I'm just going to mix it, put a little bit of warm red there. So for my red violet, it'll be more like that. And then my cool blue is right there. I don't need to put out more cool blue, that's so strong. But I do need to put out a little bit here for my blue violet. So I almost want to take these two together. What happens if I mix them together? I almost want to mix them together right there as a transition, because I'm transitioning from that blue to this blue. Now I'm gonna put a little bit of violet in. I'm working backwards right now, actually. And I made my blue violet. I think I did actually pretty well on that. Still looks pretty blue, so a little bit more of that. See how I'm pulling it in? Just pulling it in. And this will be my blue violet. It's like a blueberry. It's my giant blueberry. So I just showed a little bit of transition because this was a warm blue and now I'm using cool blues, so I just transitioned it a little soft. You don't have to do that. You can if you want to. So now I need my real violet, which will be more magenta in it. Sometimes I might get streaks if I don't mix it thoroughly enough, but that never bothered me too much. So does that look like violet or red violet? I have to be a little careful. I think it looks a little red violet, so I'm going to bring some of the blue back into it. I think I'm good over there. There, that's really a nice violet. There's a violet. The violets are the hardest ones to tell the difference. They're really, really hard. They look so similar. You really have to fine-tune your color perception to see the difference. And this exercise is all about fine-tuning that color perception. I'm going to make a little bit more. Is it still good? Yeah, okay. Oh, that got a little redder, I think. But I'm just mixing it in on the paper, so it's all good. A little bit more blue. Now this is just a fun color exercise. This is not somewhat creative in that you're designing it, but you're really building your skill and learning how to mix colors and identify colors and create them. That's a hard thing. Most people can't do that. So now we're up to the red violet. Now, notice I wash and dry my brush between every step. This was the warm red and I decided to use the cool red. So what I'm going to do is do that little thing I did before and make that transition between warm red and cool red right over here. But that warm red is a lot more powerful than the cool red. A lot more powerful. So this is not as effective as with the blue. So now I'm just going to go back to my cool red, which is the magenta, and put some of the cool blue into it, and let's see, is that a red violet? I think so. So there's my red violet. Now remember what I taught you. If you want to be careful on the edge, you can turn your paper and then you can just look over here like this. See? I'm doing it right up to there, and over here I'll be really careful. Okay. So there we go. There's our red violet. And voila! There is your 12-step color wheel. There you go. And notice some of these streaks do go away when they're dry. So we'll save tints and shades will be the next video.